Will you make loads and loads and loads of noise for the lovely Bethan Lucas?
Now, I know lots of comedians, when they first come on stage, one of the first jokes they do is they'll compare themselves to somebody famous. Now, I wasn't really sure, so I thought I'd download an app and it will compare your face to famous people's. I got some very odd results. I got Ben Affleck, 71%. Then I got Queen Latifah, 69%, at least it's a woman this time. Then I got Ralph Fiennes, 94%. If you don't know who he is, he played Voldemort. But it's my nose. Because of this, I live alone. And I hate living alone, absolutely hate it. Every noise is a burglar and every creak is an escape wolf from Wildwood. But the worst thing about it is the loneliness. I hate not having anybody else around to talk to. If it's just me, I will talk to myself at great length about nothing and everything. And when I do finally find someone to talk to, I'm really inappropriate. I've got this new rash on the thing. I live and work in Birchington, and I get to talk to lots of elderly people there, lots of elderly widowers, and I think they understand my loneliness. If you don't know Birchington, by the way, it's like the home of the over 75s that literally invented the bungalow there. But they're lovely people. I love talking to the elderly people. But there's definitely 3 topics they like to circle, aren't there? Grandchildren, a good bargain, and the temperature. Now, I think it's a common misconception that older people want to talk about the weather. It's actually the temperature, how hot or how cold they are. Either way, they will wear the same coat. I think we can learn a lot from the older generation. I think we do miss out sometimes. Whether we want to, or whether we don't want to. Like, for example, I learned the other day that a crumpet is apparently erotic. This couple came into the cafe where I work, and the wife said, "Do you do anything toasted, dear?" I said, "Yes, we do toast and tea cakes and crumpets." And her husband went, "Crumpets?" I felt completely violated. We do now call him Mr. Crumpet. Speaking of names, apparently mine's quite difficult for older people to understand. They will call me whatever they think my name is based on what they've heard that day. So my name's Bethan, but they'll call me Bethany, Steph, Stephanie, Stephen, Simon, Francis, Jack, Marple, Bergerac, Poirot. Pretty much whatever they've watched that morning, that's what they're going to call me. I did try wearing a name tag once, but Mr. Crumpet just said, "They spelled your name wrong." One thing I have noticed though about being around lots of older people all the time, that's maybe slightly less stereotypical for the rest of my set, is that they really like their romance novels, don't they? Yeah, if you go to Dan's house, you'll find one. But they're not subtle at all. I mean, anyone can be forgiven for thinking that 50 Shades of Grey is just a new range from Dulux. They're called... Thank you, Maggie. They're called things like Naked Came the Stranger and Love Machine. And my personal favourite, and I'm not making this up, Bone Deep. But I think it's nice they try and have, you know, the romance and the story and the whole thing. And I think it's something that's a little bit lost in our in-out, done kind of generation. I mean, for example, last week even, I lent one of my brothers my laptop. I'm not telling you which one because my mum's in the audience, Connor. And he must be the only man on the Western Hemisphere who doesn't know how to delete his browser history. There was only one thing that he searched for: interracial MILFs. At first, I was completely disgusted because I don't want to know my brother's preferences. And then secretly pleased to the political correctness of his portrait. I'd like to finish my set this evening by going home. But first of all, I'll tell you about something really embarrassing that happened to me last Thursday. I'm quite used to being embarrassed. I once asked a woman at work where she got her black eye, and it was a birthmark. Or the time I wet myself on a roller coaster. But they don't call it Splash Mountain for nothing. So last Thursday, the double glazing man turns up, and I do know he's coming, but I start to panic because my house is a mess, and I'm not talking a little bit messy. I'm talking landfill with a fitted kitchen. But I thought it's okay because, you know, he'll just go upstairs and he'll fix the windows and then he'll leave. But he didn't. He does go upstairs and he does fix the windows, and then he comes downstairs, and I start to panic, so I start to close the kitchen door. He starts to walk towards the kitchen door. I'm still closing the kitchen door. He's still walking. It's getting a bit awkward now because we've locked eyes. He's walking, looking a little bit confused. I'm still closing, trying not to look at him. And all of a sudden the door's shut. And I'm on the other side of it. Yes? Am I not fixing the patio door? Ah. No, I have to let him through because I've already paid him, but I can feel it coming. I can feel the judgment coming. It's the same feeling I get when I go clothes shopping with my mother. But I've got to let him in because I've already paid him. So he walks through the landfill to the living room, and it's laundry day. And because there's a man in my house, it's my delicates. And I'm not talking like normal pants that normal women have. I'm talking the face that's shaped, the ones that are shaped like a panda face. The ones that say, my mother doesn't know I'm like this, and my daddy doesn't approve. Like Primark. And the other one with a big hole that isn't a design feature. I start to panic more at this point, so I just grab the laundry and I just throw it in the laundry bin. In my blind panic, I only realise it's only Mr. Crumpet himself. He turns around and says, "You've missed a pair." Long story short, now we're married. I've been Bethan Crumpet, thank you very much.